Some of the smartest people you know are broken, and they don't see it as a wound, they see it as a calibration. There's a type of intelligence that doesn't come from books or degrees. It comes from surviving something that was supposed to crush you. It's quiet, it's fast, and most people who have it think everyone else thinks the same way they do. They don't. By the end of this, you'll know if you've been operating with a mind shaped by a very specific kind of pressure. This is about traumatic intelligence, not post-traumatic growth in a spiritual sense. We're talking about the raw neural rewiring that makes you perceptive in ways that scare people. You're not going to hear the same self-care checklist. This is a look under the hood at why your brain works the way it does. Here's the thing about people who grew up scanning for danger. You didn't just learn to be afraid, you learned to be accurate. Psychologists call it hypervigilance, but that word, it makes it sound like a flaw. In reality, it's a forensic level ability to read a room. While everyone else is listening to words, you're reading micro shifts in pupil dilation. You're watching changes in vocal pitch and the precise angle of someone's shoulders. You walk into a party or a meeting, and within 60 seconds, you know who has power. You know who is lying and who is about to explode. You felt this when someone says, "I'm fine," and your stomach drops because their jaw is set 2 degrees tighter than usual. You're not psychic, you're just running software that was installed early. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The second sign is even more disorienting. It's the ability to predict pain before the person causing it even knows they're going to do it. This is anticipatory empathy, not the soft, comforting kind. This is strategic. You know what your boss is going to need before he realizes he's stressed. You know exactly what sentence will trigger your partner's defense mechanisms, so you just don't say it. Most people think this is people-pleasing. It's not. It's a survival architecture. You learned that the fastest way to stay safe was to manage the emotional state of the person in charge of your safety. That's not weakness. That's a hell of a supercomputer you've got running in the background. So why does your brain do this when it's so exhausting? Because the alternative, once upon a time, was chaos. Your nervous system learned that predictability equals survival. That's a hard bargain to break. But here's a twist on that last one. The third sign is almost the exact opposite. You are impossible to manage when there's no actual threat. In a crisis, you're ice. A car wreck, a medical emergency, a screaming match at the dinner table, you go quiet and efficient. The world slows down. But a Tuesday afternoon with 0 tasks and a vague sense of relaxation, that's when you spiral. Therapists call this narrow window of tolerance. You're so accustomed to high cortisol that peace feels like a warning sign. You felt this as that weird itch to start a fight or create a problem just so the room feels normal again. You don't know how to operate without friction. Stay with me on this. The fourth sign is maybe the rarest. It's an instinct for system hacking. When you've experienced a system, a family, or an institution failing you spectacularly, you stop believing in the rulebook. You see the cracks. While everyone else is trying to follow the instructions on the form, you've already figured out the truth. The person at the back door leaves at 3:15. The security camera has a blind spot. This isn't about being a criminal. It's about a low-level distrust of stated reality. You see the real rules, the unwritten ones. This makes you an incredible entrepreneur, a terrifying negotiator, or just a friend who always knows how to get a refund on a non-refundable ticket. Most people see a wall. You see where the mortar is weak. Here is the twist, the thing they don't put in the psychology textbooks. We've been talking about these traits like they're skills, like you've unlocked a cheat code in life. But here's the reframe that changes everything. Traumatic intelligence is a loan, not a gift. It was lent to you at an incredibly high interest rate. Yes, you can read the room faster than anyone else, but your amygdala pays the bill. That electricity you feel in your chest at 2 a.m., that's the payment due. The reason you can predict everyone's needs is because you are never allowed to just be needy. You had to become the observer, so you wouldn't become the target. This whole time, you might have thought you were just mature for your age or really intuitive, and you are, but the engine driving that intelligence is a deep somatic memory that the world is not a safe place. Recognizing that isn't sad, it's accurate, and accuracy is what we do best. So stop asking yourself, why am I like this? Start asking, what am I going to do with this wiring now that I'm safe? What's the one social cue you see that everyone else seems to miss? Tell me in the comments. I read them because, let's be honest, I'm scanning for patterns. If this hit a little too close to home, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe, it helps more than you know. I'll be back here next week talking about the specific ways high-functioning anxiety mimics genius. You'll want to see that one.